Welcome back to Almost a True Crime Podcast, a product of Bitch Pack Media. We are your hosts, Taryn and Madison. Listener discretion is advised due to the mature content and the amount of cuss words we say. You've been warned.
Hey guys.
Welcome back. Why are you staring at me?
I don't know. Didn't know where else to look.
That's fine. That's fair. All right. We really got nothing to talk about because we're recording these all in a row.
Yep.
Also, we were going to try and record 4 today. That's certainly not going to happen. So, trying to see how the calendar works out. If there's another Patreon at the end of this month, don't be surprised. So, let's see. 16, 23, this will put us at 30. I'm getting Invisalign on December 2nd.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to put me out of commission for like a hot second while I adjust. So,
I'm just going to have a lisp.
if you see a Patreon episode, please don't get mad. Because we'll see how it shakes out. But I might need a week of nothing. I know, I'm like, God, I am going to have a fucking lisp.
Probably.
I'm going to sound weird.
I'm going to make fun of you, but only because I'm jealous.
That's fair.
I'm jealous, but I also don't think I could, like, my teeth are crooked as fuck on the bottom, but I don't think I could ever electively do it.
No.
I hate.
What do you...
Bless me, the dentist. Do we still have tissues
you
in
do
here?
hate the dentist. We do, actually. Ow.
Whew, that snuck up on me.
I forgot you hate the dentist.
How could you forget that?
I don't know. And I forget, like, braces are a dentist. Like, it's not just like a...
It's an invasive dental procedure.
Cosmetic.
Do they numb you? Like, I don't even know how that works.
No.
What?
No. No.
They just glue shit onto your fucking teeth? Just
Yeah.
raw dog that shit?
I think so.
Didn't you have braces for, like, a long time?
No. I had braces, but for, like, 7 months.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't have them long at all.
Who had braces? Courtney had braces forever.
So did Jordan, I think.
Maybe that's who I'm thinking of, Jordan.
She had braces in, like, the 5th grade, and then got them taken off, and then had them again.
That sucks.
Yeah, no, I did not. I was
Everyone
very lucky.
Had braces.
Yeah, how were people out there affording braces? Like, how is that a thing? They're so fucking expensive.
So expensive.
I guess insurance covers, like, a little bit if you're still a kid. They tried to bill my insurance for Invisalign, and my insurance was like, surely not.
This almost 30-year-old woman,
Yeah.
she can figure that out.
100%. I don't think they've ever gotten a denial faster. It was instant, like, deny. Absolutely not.
Like, could you try to, like, bill it a different way?
It's medical something. Can you just lie?
I know. Why don't people ever do that? Like, come on, help me out.
Yeah, why are you being such a bootlicker? Why you love the system so much? Just lie.
Bootlicker. Oh, my God. Can't stand you.
Whatever. Anyway, all that to say that you might have a Patreon episode at the end of the month because...
Which, if you do, you're lucky. You're lucky to be getting those for free because we have so many good ones.
they are
in the
so
bank.
good. And not everyone gets to hear them.
Yeah, so...
Only less than like 30 people get to enjoy the fruits of our labors. And I'm all caught up on the videos, so...
Yeah, you
There's
guys
a
are
video
really
up there.
missing out.
And the videos always include like the first 10 minutes before we start recording.
Which, who knows?
Is the most chaotic part.
So we talk shit about everybody. Leave it in.
Leave it in, see who notices.
Yep.
Okay, let's get started. I'm sure it will come as no surprise to you that I am doing the Menendez brothers.
So excited.
The murder of Jose and Kitty Menendez.
Kitty.
I love that name, first of all.
Me fucking too. I wish my name was Kitty. What a perfect housewife name.
That is a perfect housewife
Kitty.
name.
Should I change it?
Why not,
Like,
honestly?
people change their names sometimes. Like, people have nicknames that are nothing to do with their real name.
That's so weird to me. How did you get there?
I don't know. Did you know that
What?
my mother-in-law's real name is Dorothy?
Right, it's not Dolly?
Yes.
That's crazy.
I never knew. I think it, like, might be legally changed, like, on her driver's license.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it says Dolly now. But yeah, she was born Dorothy Grace.
Wow. That's wild.
Yep.
Yeah, just change your name to Kitty. Who cares?
Okay. Kitty Koshin.
Kitty
Oh
Koshin?
my God. I have to.
That's cute. This is obviously going to be 2 parts.
Obviously.
And I think it's broken up kind of weird. I don't know if there's a way around it. So this part might be a little short, but next week is going to be kind of long.
Give it to me. Give it to me, Daddy.
A lot of this does come from the LA Times, actually.
Oh, well.
Which I just said last week I don't use because I don't pay for it. I did reach my limit like 800 times.
Yeah.
I had to just keep going back on incognito browser.
Oh my God. I was like, I know there's a way to do it. And I was like finishing it up last night. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah,
I
so
don't
a
care
lot
what
of
they have
this
to say
comes
then.
from there. And then an article by Rachel Pergament on the Crime Library, which is another website that I really like. That's where I got like all that Brandon Tina stuff from Crime Library.
I love like Crime Library, Murderpedia,
Yes.
and the fucking Criminal Minds website.
So much good shit. Okay, so I'm going to get in the background of Jose and Kitty before we get into all of this stuff, just so that we understand what kind of people we're dealing with here.
Okay.
So Jose Menendez was born in Cuba, where he was the child of well-to-do business people and star athletes. So both of his parents must have been well-to-do. Mm-hmm. When Fidel Castro came into power, his parents sent Jose to America when he was only 16, where he lived in the attic of a cousin's house in Hazleton, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Can you imagine having to do that?
Oh, Anne Frank.
Different.
That's the same.
I meant sending your child across the sea, not living in an attic.
Oh.
That's funny.
But Anne Frank was like a whole family, wasn't it?
Yes.
There's like multiple people in this tiny attic.
There was. I wanted to reread that as like
never
an
read
adult.
it, so I know I
You
need
didn't have to read it.
Oh my God, I think I own it, and I just haven't read it.
Should we make it the next Bitch Pack book club? Something nice for the new year. Anne Frank's diary.
My sister would definitely not read the diary of Anne Frank. Sometimes I like to take a break from like the other books though and read like real stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like it helps me get smarter. It's better for my brain.
That was a derailment I didn't see coming.
Sorry.
Okay, so Jose was described as commanding and extremely confident and was a star swimmer in high school. He won an athletic scholarship to Southern Illinois University in Carbondale, where he was able to grab the attention of a former beauty queen, Mary Louise Anderson, who was most commonly referred to as Kitty.
See? How do you get Kitty out of Mary Louise?
You don't. There is not a lot of background about Kitty. She was described as mysterious and reserved, but she was also described as like the hot girl troublemaker. But
Makes
like
sense.
nobody really knew who she was.
Gosh, sounds like Jennifer Newton.
She does kind of sound like Jennifer Newton.
She was so hot, but we were always getting in trouble with Jen Newton.
Jen Newton wasn't getting in trouble.
Do you think she'll be mad that I'm saying this? No. She doesn't listen to this one.
No, that's right. I think people said she may have been a little ashamed of her background because she came from like a sort of broken home. And I didn't put the years in here, but this was around the time that like that sort of thing would have mattered to other people.
Parents aren't even married.
Yeah. She came from like a broken home. She was the youngest of 4 children, and her father was abusive towards them and their mother. And he eventually left her mother for another woman. Scandal. Kitty, who was 2 years older than Jose, fell for the charming, good-looking man, even though they were from vastly different worlds. Kitty's roommate at the time said all of a sudden she was hit by a bulldozer. Menendez's family thought that he was too young to get married, but he wrote that if I'm old enough to live on my own at 16, I'm old enough to get married at 19, which makes sense. That's a fair assessment of the situation. Mm-hmm. Jose and Kitty's relationship caused problems for both of their families. Kitty's family was surprised that she would choose a Cuban teenager as her future husband. Subtle hints of racism in her white family. Jose's family thought that Kitty was beneath their social standing because her parents were divorced.
Menendezes sound like assholes.
The Menendezes think they're better than everyone else. So, Jose's parents also thought that at age 19, Jose was too young to marry. Around the time that Kitty graduated with a Bachelor of Science degree in Communications, Jose and Kitty eloped and were secretly married in 1963. So that makes sense. It would have been like the late 50s when people were like making fun of her for having a broken family.
Yeah.
That adds up.
Remember when like people used to, like it was a dig to say, like, your mom goes to college.
Yeah.
Like, that's so funny. Or when you would say your mom wears combat boots, that meant your mom was a lesbian.
The worst.
Your mom goes to college. What a dumb fucking thing to say.
So dumb.
That's hilarious. Kids are so stupid. Oh, man. Okay.
So they got married. If Jose's 19, that means Kitty is probably 21 at this time. So they eloped and were secretly married. After they got married, they moved east, where Menendez transferred to Queens College in New York and washed dishes at the 21 Club while he earned an accounting degree. David Innerfield, one of his teachers, recalls Jose as ambitious and a struggling student who would batter me for a better grade. Kitty had plans to get a master's degree and work in broadcasting, but she decided to put that off in order to support Jose in his career. Not that uncommon for the time, but I still don't love it, ever.
That's what I've done. I've just put my career on hold.
I hate you. So, Jose's first job was at the prestigious accounting firm of Coopers and Lybrand. Who's Lyons? Oh, Lyons Container Service in Illinois was so impressed by... I'm like, who the f... I just instantly stopped reading. Lyons Container Service in Illinois was so impressed by the suggestions he made while doing its books that it hired him away to be a comptroller. 3 years later, he was the company's president, and by the age of 35, he had been named executive vice president in charge of U.S. operations at Hertz, an RCA Corporation subsidiary.
You know why all this happened for him?
Why?
Because he's a man.
Because he's a man. Not a white man, but still a man nonetheless. There is a lot of stuff about his background, so if you are very familiar with this and you think I'm leaving stuff out, I absolutely am. Because he had, like, several jobs, and I just did not feel like going through all of them.
Yeah, that's okay.
In 1980, he was put in charge of the records division of RCA, and when RCA was bought out by GE in 1986 and they didn't make him president, he left. He's like, okay, well.
RCA, like VCRs?
RCA, I thought it was like a...
Like RCA.
I thought that was like a record label of some sort, but why would GE buy it? I don't know.
That's what I was thinking, like appliances, something.
Whatever. Know. Menendez landed on his feet when he was quickly hired by Carolco Pictures, which made its reputation with Sylvester Stallone's Rambo movies.
Oh.
Yeah. Big get. Menendez brought his family with him to California. So they were all living in Massachusetts at this time. And Lyle and Erik have already been born.
Oh, okay.
But I'm just sort of going through their background.
Lyle and Erik are their names?
Lyle and Erik.
I love the name Lyle.
Lyle, Crocodile.
No, it reminds me of a VeggieTales. Sir Lyle, I like your style. I don't know. He was a Viking. I don't.
Secret Christian vegetables.
I know.
So weird.
Loved it.
So Kitty, Lyle, and Erik are living in Massachusetts, and Jose's working in California. After this happens, he just moves them all that way. And it was alleged that Jose was having, like, several affairs in the 1980s. Yeah. Most notably, a very serious affair with a woman named Louise. That was really whistly, and I hate that. It's one of my least favorite noises.
I can't do it. It reminds me of the pervert on Family Guy.
God. Exactly. Like, that's what I sounded like. Him and Louise would literally, like, host parties together as a couple.
Oh, my God.
Like, together.
Oh, my God.
They would travel together for work, all that.
Well, I mean, why would your family's literally across the country?
Who gives a fuck? See you on MySpace.
Yeah, exactly. Who's going to say anything?
Kitty had already moved out once when she found out about a different affair, and then only moved back because of the boys. When she found out about Louise, she had a full-on downward spiral. Also, Kitty did not handle the move too well. They lived, like, near Jersey. She loved Jersey.
Oh, that's, like, big difference.
Big
Jersey, California.
Yeah. You can't move, Teresa. You can't move the Guidices to LA. It just won't be the same.
Giudices.
The Giudices, the Guidices, the Guidices.
Seriously.
They say
I don't know which one it is.
Giudice. So, yeah, huge adjustment. And obviously she has no friends or family in California.
Yeah.
Everyone she knows lives on the complete opposite side of the country. And they had just, like, bought her dream home in Jersey. Like, they spent all this money to buy, like, the home that she loved.
That's so sad.
However, Jose didn't really care. Felt it was
well, he's making the money, so
Shocker.
shut up, bitch.
Yeah, he said he felt it was best everyone moved to California with him except Lyle. Lyle does stay to attend Princeton. They're old at this point.
Oh, okay.
The timeline gets a little fucking weird, but I just want to be done with Kitty and Jose.
Okay.
In an effort to mollify her, Jose spent $950,000 on a beautiful 5-bedroom house on nearly 14 acres in Calabasas.
Say less. I think I could make it work.
You think you could be fine with that? He even agreed to pay several $1,000s to have the swimming pool relocated a few feet to clear the way for an entertainment area.
Okay.
That's a lot of fucking work for not a lot of return. Your return on investment is not that great. Feet? You just want to move the pool a few feet? Can you imagine having that much money?
How do you do that?
I can't get gas twice a month or I'm done. Tapped.
Don't even get me started.
Kitty fought hard to hold her marriage together, but it is unlikely that Jose would have ever divorced her anyway. Just not something you did. Mm-hmm. An employee at Life Entertainment said Kitty called Jose at his office every 30 minutes, sometimes just to tell him what kind of pizza to bring home for dinner. She's just a very dependent person.
I mean, what else does she have to do?
Nothing.
Yeah.
And it's his fault. She wanted to go on his business trips with him. She was a very warm, nice person, but she also had a history of drinking and doing pills, which what housewife didn't?
Exactly. What else is she supposed to do all day?
Nothing. Drink wine and do her little tiny drugs. Another business associate of Jose's at Live said, I knew Kitty at company dinners and cocktail parties. They used to say about Kitty that she was Jose with a wig. They are the same person.
That's so funny.
She was always very much at his side, part of his vision, dedicated to the cause, whatever the cause was. Kitty's best friend, Karen Lamb, described Kitty as being deeply unhappy over her husband's philandering. What a great word. Philandering. She claims that Kitty had tried suicide on 3 occasions. She said the kind of at-home suicide attempts that are more cries for help than a longing for death, though. She just wanted someone to notice her and her problems.
And that she's sad.
Yeah.
That's...
The demand of Jose's job meant long hours and frequent trips away from home. But even during the stressful periods when Jose was changing jobs or battling in court, family members never saw critical problems in the household. He ran it in a traditional Latin way that cast him in a dominant role. Kitty was there in a strong supporting role. She did more for them than any mother ever did, said a friend. Jose took parenthood very seriously, and his approach seems simple. Expect success, reward it, and don't settle for anything less.
Sounds like a nightmare.
As you will come to find out, it was in fact a nightmare.
Ugh.
Okay, so now we're going to get into Lyle and Erik.
Okay.
Erik with a K.
Oh, nice.
Fancy. Unique.
Rich Erik.
Sexy, unique restaurant. Sir. I don't know why that came into my head. Okay, so like I said, this is going to overlap with the background that I just told you. So while this is going on, Jose and Kitty have 2 sons. Joseph Lyle Menendez, so Lyle's first name is Joseph, was born in New York City on January 10th, 1968. And Erik Galen Menendez was born on November 27th, 1970 in Blackwood, New Jersey.
Galen?
Galen. Galen.
Galen. Yeah.
Galen.
Phil is an Uncle Galen.
That sounds very familiar to me, but I think it's from Sons of Anarchy. Galen O'Shea. I actually am certain it is now. When the brothers were young, Jose had rules for everything. What they could eat, who they could spend their time with, and what they read and thought about. Oh. Every hour of every day was to be accounted for. Jose and Kitty did not take into account that they were dealing with young children, nor did they consider that their children could be flawed or that they themselves might be flawed. So it's just running this like a business.
Oh my God.
They're not taking into account that kids just don't do whatever you say because they're assholes.
They're children.
Yeah.
They have tiny brains that aren't formed.
Yeah. The pressures of meeting Jose's demands appeared early on Lyle and Erik. Both brothers developed stutters, stomach pains, and a habit of grinding their teeth.
Oh my God, they're just so anxious all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, that is so sad.
Both brothers also developed nasty tempers, which I'm certain comes from
their father.
Yeah, watching him. I mean, at work and at home, probably. As they grew older, the brothers were drawn to each other for companionship and solidarity in order to face their father's control. Erik grew up worshiping Lyle.
Aww.
The brothers had tennis in common.
Wait, which one's the older one?
Lyle. Joseph Lyle Menendez. They're only 2 years apart. Oh, okay. 1968, 1970.
Oh, cool. They're like me and Kelsey.
Oh, yeah, they are. Besties. The brothers had tennis in common. Me too.
Oh, yeah. Wow, you can really relate.
This really hit home for me.
Oh, my God.
It's early, guys.
I know.
It's 10:30. Okay, so, but their relationship went far deeper than things like that. One of their friends from high school, Noel, said their bond appears to me to be the best brother bond I've ever seen. Lyle was protective of Erik, whom he called E-Man. And Erik, in turn, was said to idolize his brother nearly as much as Lyle idolized his father. So it's like a little, like, Eric's looking up to Lyle, but Lyle's looking up to their dad. But, like, it's exactly the same.
Yeah.
When the boys were 12 and 9, their dad started them on a demanding regimen calculated to make them into tennis stars.
Oh.
Yeah, one of those. He paid for coaches, supervised practices, and attended many matches. He also wanted excellence off the court. He expected them to be able to hold their own in dinner table discussions of arms control and international politics.
Oh my fucking God.
At the dinner table.
Absolutely not.
Lyle would recite from his father's favorite motivational text, "I was not delivered unto this world in defeat, nor does failure course in my veins." And when Jose wanted to drive home a point to his sons, his lectures could last hours and resemble a business meeting. There's no family relationship here.
No. There's no love.
No.
In this household.
None.
Except for, like, the love they have for each other.
Yeah, that's it.
That is so sad.
Isn't it? As the boys grew up, he didn't relinquish control, as most parents do. He took great interest in whom his sons were dating, how their studies were going, and all the details of their lives.
What?
People note that as young people mature, they need an increasing amount of psychological freedom. The kind of intensity between the father and the sons smelled to me like a real power and control issue. True.
Yeah, he wants to literally control every single aspect of their lives.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Unhealthy.
My parents didn't even know the names of all my friends.
In 1979, the family was living in Pennington, outside of Princeton, New Jersey. Lyle and Erik attended the Princeton Day School, a private school. At the Princeton Day School, both brothers were considered average students. Lyle developed problems academically when he was in the 6th grade. His teachers found that he was not well prepared and did not have the ability to concentrate. Teachers at the Princeton Day School felt that both Lyle and Erik had learning problems, but Jose would not accept that his son had flaws.
Yeah, probably because they're in a constant state of anxiety. How can you put anything else in your brain?
You can't. The teachers noticed that the homework the brothers turned in was far better than the work completed in class, because they're doing their homework for them. Teachers also noticed that the brothers were immature compared to their classmates. At the age of 14, Lyle still wet the bed and played with stuffed animals.
Oh my God, that's so sad.
Isn't it sad?
Because they have no social skills.
None.
They're not. Oh my God, this is so sad. I am so sad for them.
However, Lyle's first serious girlfriend, Stacy Feldman, another student at the Princeton Day School, saw a different side of the Menendez family. During 2 Christmases spent with the family, she found Kitty to be warm and sympathetic, and Jose engaging and proud of his achievements, which still doesn't mean he wasn't being an asshole.
Right. Sounds very arrogant.
Yeah. Lyle was a bit of a square, again, like his father. He and Stacy were so straight-laced, according to Lisa Watson, whose daughter was a friend of Stacy's, that these kids went to prom and came home early.
Oh, God. What losers.
Stacy remembers his grand gestures. When she broke off their relationship when she went to college, Lyle offered to buy her a fur and sending her flowers when she declined the fur coat. Just normal shit. With no chores to do at home, Lyle once tried working in a Princeton restaurant to earn a little extra money, but when he got his $33 paycheck, he said,
like, fuck this.
He said, I could find that going through my laundry bag. I quit.
I feel it. Like,
isn't that so funny? Like, when rich people realize how little money you make for working, he got that paycheck and probably was like, what the fuck?
Like, I worked how many hours and, like, sweated for this? Yeah.
Absolutely not. No, thank you.
That's hilarious.
When Lyle initially applied to Princeton in 1986, he was rejected. He enrolled in a community college and submitted another application to Princeton for the 1987 school year.
Can you imagine this whole time they have major learning disabilities that are being treated?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's terrible.
While Lyle waited to hear from Princeton, he met and began to date Jamie Pisarcik, a waitress at a local Princeton restaurant. Jamie was also a tennis player and 5 years older than Lyle was. I don't know how that math adds up there. I don't know. I think he was probably 19 at this time, which means she's like 24. Not that crazy.
No.
Kitty and Jose did not like Jamie because they felt that Jamie was dating Lyle because he was the son of wealthy parents, as rich people always think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't give a fuck about your money.
Especially at that age. What does your parents' money have anything to do with me?
Nothing. And you're 24. You don't have, like, who cares? At that age, you're more interested in, like, Lyle's money.
Yeah,
like him,
exactly. Your parents' money has nothing to do with me.
Him going to dinner and, like, buying you dinner and stuff. It has nothing to do with, like, the long-term generational wealth you stand to inherit in, like, 50 years. You're not thinking of that.
No.
Lyle was accepted to Princeton in 1987, more on the strength of his ethnicity and ability to play tennis than on his standardized test scores and high school grades, which were average.
Oh, they had to let him in. He's a minority because he is Cuban.
He's Cuban. People forget. And that really, I know that's a thing now, but I think that was still going on. I don't think it was as important.
Like they didn't have a quota they had to meet of minorities.
No. But during the summer of 1987, Lyle and Jamie announced that they were engaged.
Wow.
This announcement angered Jose. At 19, Jose felt that Lyle was too young to be married. The irony, because he was 19 when he got married.
Correct.
And told his parents that he was old enough. Shortly before Lyle was to begin at Princeton, Jamie moved to Alabama to teach tennis. Lyle followed her. Jose was
Alabama.
Jose was upset by this and secretly arranged to sponsor Jamie on a European tennis tour.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's straight up sending her away.
Yeah. Jose thought that once Jamie was out of the picture, Lyle would concentrate on Princeton without any distractions. Well, Jose was wrong, and Lyle followed Jamie to Europe.
This is a movie. Like, that's
Yeah.
something that happens in a movie.
He secretly cut a check to sponsor her to be able to go to Europe and play tennis. To get her away.
What the fuck does this remind
from
me
his
of?
family. And then Lyle does end up going to Princeton. After one semester in the fall of 1987, he was accused of plagiarizing a paper for a psychology class. Specifically, Lyle was required to complete a laboratory assignment in his Psychology 101 class, a freshman level course. Normal shit. Lyle was accused of copying a lab partner's homework assignment and turning the assignment in as his own work. When Lyle realized how much trouble he was in, he asked Brendan Scott, a priest and doctoral student, to assist him with his defense. In a 4-hour hearing, Lyle defended himself before a disciplinary committee, explaining that he did not intend to cheat and reading a note from his father on ethics. This time, however, invoking Jose's name did not save him, and Lyle was suspended for a year. After learning of the outcome, Jose flew immediately to Princeton for a meeting with Princeton's president, which he got, which is crazy, the president of an Ivy League university. At the meeting, Jose argued that the punishment was unduly harsh and did not fit the crime. Jose argued that this was just one homework assignment and not a large part of Lyle's grade for the class.
It's crazy. Like, I just copied homework. You know how often I did that in high school?
That is crazy. Makes you think, was something else going on here? Like, it wasn't just homework. I don't know. The president was unmoved. And
also, it's Princeton. I feel like
that's
the
true.
expectations are pretty high there.
Yeah,
you should be able to do your own homework.
Yeah. The president was unmoved and informed Lyle that he could return to Princeton in 1988 in good standing.
Take that, Jose.
Straight up suspended.
Money can't buy everything.
According to some accounts, Jose was more pissed at the college than at Lyle's cheating.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Lyle was pretty embarrassed by this and really wanted to just transfer to UCLA or something closer to home. Just be done with all that. Jose was not having it. During his year off, he traveled to Europe with Jamie and worked at Live Records for his dad, which went as well as you think it would. Mm-hmm. Employees resented Lyle. He was showing up late and unapologetic for work, ignoring orders, not paying attention, skipping work entirely on nice days. Some of the coworkers described Lyle as nasty, arrogant, and self-centered. Finally, one of Jose's associates went to him and complained about Lyle. Jose asked the associate what he would do if Lyle was not the boss's son, and the associate said fire him. So he did fire him.
Well,
and Lyle was fired. Jamie followed Lyle back to Princeton, where she began working as a waitress. There she met another just-hired waiter, Donovan J. Goodrow, a free-spirited
Mm-hmm.
A free-spirited, well-mannered Californian who found a temporary home near the college while traveling around the country. She and Donovan shared a small apartment on a platonic basis, and she introduced him to Lyle. Lyle and Donovan became extremely close. I'd venture to say, like, they were best friends. Donovan would accompany Lyle back home to visit his parents, things like that. It was alleged that Kitty and Jose were glad to have Donovan around because now that they were living in California, they could no longer complete Lyle's homework for him. So Donovan was willing to write Lyle's papers for him in an effort to keep Lyle from failing.
This kid, a total fraud.
Yes.
Like, this is insane.
He's going to graduate from Princeton and then what? He has no knowledge. Like, how's he going to get a job?
That's insane.
So, yeah, Kitty and Jose were like, well, this is good because we can't do your homework all the way over there. So he
thank
can
God you have Donovan.
He can do your homework for you.
Oh, my God. At Princeton.
Yeah. Like, perhaps you have no business being there.
That's so wild. This is crazy.
By April, Lyle had had a falling out with Jamie over his friendship with Donovan. Lyle then began dating a 30-year-old model.
Oh, my God.
Lyle's only 21. So his parents, again, not crazy about this. Fully assuming she's using Lyle for his money, which
Lyle
this
has some
might be
issues,
true.
Though. Like, he has, like, mommy issues going on right now.
So Donovan went to California with Lyle for spring break, where they spent time with his family and partying with Lyle's 30-year-old model girlfriend. They went to the Bedensbrook Club and took Donovan on a joyride in a motorized golf cart across the course's rolling hills and over several of the course's well-manicured greens.
Oh, my God.
Shelley Pierce, the club manager, said they ruined the hell out of everything, and the Menendez's family golf privileges were suspended for a year. They don't have the pull that they think they do.
No.
How's everyone getting suspended from everything?
Yeah.
After Lyle returned from spring break, Donovan was accused of stealing from students in Lyle's dorm. Rather than defend Donovan, who insisted he was innocent of the thefts, Lyle confronted him with two of his friends, and Donovan was forced to leave Princeton.
What a fucker.
I know, just immediately.
Just turn on him.
Yeah. In his haste to leave Lyle's dorm room, he leaves something pretty important behind. That comes up later. So, while Lyle... Thumbtack that. I don't remember if that was a Patreon episode or not.
I don't know.
Inside joke. So, while Lyle is trying and failing to be the son his father always wanted and to be proud of, Erik is having his own problems. Having lived in the shadow of his brother when Jose and Kitty and Erik moved to California in 1986, Erik was a sophomore in high school. Erik was alone because Lyle stayed behind.
Is sad.
Erik enrolled at Calabasas High School. Away from his brother and the comparisons that were often made between them at Princeton Day School, Erik found his own identity. Erik made friends with a group of boys who were like him, cocky, loud, rebellious, your average
Typical.
Rich children.
Yeah.
Kitty believed that Erik was a homosexual.
Homosexual.
I did. That was from the article.
A gay.
Kitty believed Erik was gay. That boy is gay, and I believe that.
Mama, it's lip balm.
When they moved to Calabasas, Kitty gave Erik an order to find a girlfriend in 6 months.
What?
These people are deranged.
What?
This family's crazy.
Find a girlfriend or you're gay.
Yeah. If you can find a girlfriend in 6 months with all of our money,
You're gay.
I know you don't want one.
I know you are a gay.
Erik found an older girl at Calabasas High, but their relationship was short-lived. At a party, Erik and the girl argued, and Erik locked the girl in a room. He would not let her leave. She screamed and yelled, but Erik would not let her out. Finally, Erik let the girl go. The girl had had enough of Erik. Later, she recalled that he was one of the oddest guys I had ever met. He's very arrogant, very confident, but deep down he has a lot of problems and insecurities.
He's got a lot more going on than possibly being gay.
Yeah, there are things underneath there
that need to be sorted out.
Yeah. Erik later had another girlfriend, Janice, whom Kitty and Jose both liked. Unlike Lyle's girlfriends, whom Kitty found cheap, Kitty thought highly of Janice. Perhaps Erik's most important relationship at Calabasas High was with Craig Signorelli. Craig was the captain of the tennis team, and Erik was the number one ranked player on the team. Craig and Erik spent a great deal of time together and wrote a third-rate screenplay entitled Friends. The script was a 62-page thriller about a son from a wealthy family who reads his parents' will and learns that upon their deaths, he will inherit $157 million. The son murders everyone to get his hands on his parents' money before being killed.
Interesting. Is that foreshadowing?
Hindsight's 2020 in these situations. Why was this the idea that popped into your brain? So, in July of 1988, Erik and Lyle's back home at this point, began breaking into homes in Calabasas.
What the fuck? Why? You're rich. Always. It's always like...
It always is. The brothers burglarized the homes owned by parents of their friends and were surprised by the large amounts of cash and jewelry they were able to steal. The brothers had found an easy source of spending money rather than having to ask Jose for a handout or listen to Jose lecture about hard work. So I
trying to get another job.
$33 goddamn dollars.
Like, fuck, what am I going to do with that?
And they're like, listen, we don't even have to ask Dad for money anymore and hear about all the fucking bullshit that comes with asking him for money. Which I'm sure was literally ridiculous. Can I have $20? I'm sure they talked for 4 hours about.
And you have to tell them.
The amount of money and jewelry that Lyle and Erik stole was estimated to be more than $100,000.
What?
Large enough to be classified as a felony offense called grand theft burglary. Yeah, $100,000.
Jesus.
The Los Angeles County Sheriff's detective who investigated the burglaries received a break in the case after Erik was stopped for a driving violation in Calabasas and stolen property was found in his car trunk.
Damn. Like the OG bling ring.
Literally. Just the rich stealing from the rich.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Later, the detective discovered that a safe in one of the homes that the brothers had burglarized was found in another home burglarized by the brothers. So, it appeared that whoever the burglars were had a guilty conscience and tried to return what they stole.
And they returned it to the wrong house.
Returned it to the wrong house.
Oh my God. Can you imagine just coming across a safe that does not belong to
Not
you
yours.
in your home?
Like,
what's going on here?
Fuck. Jose was furious.
Also, how embarrassing. Like,
pissed
for him.
Yeah.
Like, why would you steal? We have, like,
Makes them
means.
look poor.
Yeah.
Jose's like, how dare you make me look poor by stealing? Jose did not want his sons to spend any time in jail, though, and hired Gerald Chaleff, a well-respected criminal defense attorney, to represent them. Chaleff was able to work out an agreement with the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office that would absolve Lyle of any participation in the burglaries if Erik took responsibility for all the crimes. Erik was a juvenile and had no previous record, which is why they probably did this. Erik was able to convince a judge to sentence Erik to community service with the homeless and for the brothers to undergo psychological counseling.
About damn time.
So they sold Erik down the river to save Lyle.
Yep.
Essentially. Shortly after the burglaries were solved, according to a Malibu sheriff's detective, a rented van pulled up behind the sheriff's station at the Malibu Civic Center. Jose Menendez was at the wheel, accompanied by Gerald Chaleff, the lawyer. The two proceeded to unload the stolen property so that detectives could take an inventory. Jose was believed to be livid about the episode, although he and Kitty hid this chapter of the family's life. Jose made Erik face the music, according to a family member. Jose was not easy to fool. Despite all of this, the family appeared to remain close on the outside, of course, keeping up appearances. Mm-hmm. However, there were more problems underneath. Lyle's girlfriend, Christy, told him that she was pregnant. Jose found out and went to see her.
Wait, is this the 30-year-old? No, this is different.
Probably a different one. It doesn't say. I think around the time Lyle dated this model, he dated like a bunch of
so he was just
cheap girls, according to Kitty.
Seed.
Yeah. According to Lyle, Jose intimidated her into having an abortion.
Rich men.
There
it is.
Kitty later told one of her friends that Jose paid Christy $100,000. After paying Christy off, Jose and Kitty demanded that Lyle give her up for good.
Jesus Christ.
Lyle's spring semester report card from Princeton was terrible. His grades were dismal and included 1 F.
No fucking shit.
Yeah, he doesn't know anything. Lyle was on academic probation despite Donovan's assistance with his papers and assignments. Lyle was also on disciplinary probation after he threw a party and ruined all the pool tables. And his driver's license was also suspended.
How is he still at this school?
Money? I don't know.
Barely.
And that's barely got to be saving him. Jose and Kitty could not understand what was wrong with their sons. There were so many problems with Lyle and Erik, according to them. They're like, what the fuck? Well, it's because you assume kids can't have problems.
Right. You're not doing, yeah, you're not.
You never got to the root of the problem when you should have. And you made it worse by treating them the way that you treated them.
Forcing him to go to Princeton when he doesn't fucking know anything.
He didn't even want to.
Can't even do his homework.
Yeah. Jose was losing his patience and was less and less willing to be persuaded by Lyle's rationalizations. Jose and Kitty were so desperate to drive home to their sons how serious their circumstances were that they used the only thing they thought that could get through to them. They threatened to rewrite their wills and leave the brothers out completely.
Damn.
Mistake. Kitty had confided in her psychiatrist that she thought both of her sons were sociopaths. She began locking her bedroom door, had her own gun, and would not let the boys have a key to the house.
What?
Yeah.
She's scared of them.
Yes, Kitty is actively scared of them. And there's not a lot of it in here. Maybe it comes up during the trial and stuff, but they were a little off. They were a little scary. They had sociopathic tendencies. Like, they would just yell at people.
What's his face locked a girl in a room, so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Things like that were not out.
Snapped.
It wasn't out of the ordinary for something like that to happen. So, on Friday, August 18th, someone used Donovan Goodrow's driver's license for identification to buy 2 12-gauge shotguns in a sporting goods store in San Diego. So remember I said Donovan had left something behind.
Oh.
In his haste to leave Lyle's dorm, he left behind his ID, which was then used to buy 2 12-gauge shotguns. Information on a federal form that was filled out during the sale had Goodrow's license number and a phony San Diego address. Donovan said he lost his driver's license in the spring of 1989. The last time he saw it was 2 days before he was asked to move out of Lyle's dorm room in a dispute over some missing cash. Donovan says he sometimes kept his wallet in a box on Lyle's dorm room desk. He also said he and Lyle had used each other's identification from time to time in Princeton and used to practice each other's signatures.
Well, that's a really shady thing to be doing.
A weird
thing. You both have your own IDs. Yeah. Why are you swapping?
So, Sunday, August 20th, 1989, was another mild summer day in Beverly Hills. The Menendez family was up early and on the tennis court. They passed the day lazily until the afternoon when Erik and Lyle made plans to go out. Jose and Kitty were in the family room dozing while a James Bond thriller, The Spy Who Loved Me, played on the VCR. Around 10 p.m., a teenage girl was outside her home located down the street from the Menendez mansion waiting for her boyfriend. The girl noticed a small car drive up and stop in front of the Menendez home. There were 2 men inside. The men exited from the car. One man went into the trunk and the other walked towards the house. The girl lost interest and looked away. Lyle and Erik say they went to see the movie Batman, then stopped off at a food fair. They had planned to meet a friend late that night, but Erik said he needed his ID, so they stopped at home. And when they walked into the family room, they say they came upon a bloody scene they will never forget. A recording of the 911 call made from the scene captures the hysteria that followed. Lyle called 911 and is simultaneously screaming at Erik and sobbing to the operator, telling him that his parents were dead. I'm going to try and play it because I've never actually listened to this before. Oh. This is just from YouTube. I'm not sure.
Beverly Hills emergency.
Yes, police.
What's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem?
Someone killed my parents.
Pardon me?
Someone killed my parents.
What? Who? Are they still there?
Yes.
The people...
No.
Were they shot?
Yes, man, too.
Were they shot?
Yes.
They were shot?
Yes.
102 response. 722 North Elmore.
What happened? Stand up,
I have a hysterical person on. We're trying to get things further. Other units responding. Is the person still there?
What happened? We have units around. What happened? Who shot who?
I don't hear anything. I just came home.
You came home and found who shot?
Mom and Dad. You know if they're still in the house, the people that did the shooting.
Get away from him. Okay, hang on. Let me talk to Erik. Who is the person that was shot?
My mom and my dad.
Your mom and dad?
My mom and my dad.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay, we're on our way over there with an ambulance.
Okay, I gotta go.
Okay.
Oh,
Hello, this is police department.
yes.
Okay, I want you to come outside. Okay, just come out the front door and
I gotta tell my brother.
Okay.
Damn.
It's important to play that because we obviously know it's a lie. So that comes up a lot in trial. And that's where I'm going to end part 1, actually.
Oh my God.
That's where I have it earmarked at. So next week, we're going to go into the infamous spending spree that happens after this. What actually happened, and then the trial is extremely long. So next week's episode is going to be longer than this, but that's fine. I'll try and go fast. It's like the kind of long where like there's just a lot of words. Like I just have to read a lot of words. It's not like, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Okay,
Like
that's fine. Let's end this so we can get to it.
Like sometimes we have like 7 pages, but it's like
Just a bunch of mumbo jumbo you can skip through.
Yeah, this is just like everything word for word I need to say. Mm-hmm. Not a lot I need to remember offhand. So we're going to go because Taryn clearly can't wait.
I cannot
to
wait.
get to the next part.
All
So if you also can't wait, go on the Patreon. It should be up for you very shortly. And then if not, we'll see you next week for part 2.
Woo.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at AlmostPod. If you want an additional episode every week, you can find us at Patreon at AlmostPod.
If you have a case you want us to cover, throw it in a review on Apple Podcasts. You can find merch and all other information at bitchpackmedia.com. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.